Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to our Tube Depot tube amp build. In part one, we did the circuit board, and this is part two. We're going to do the chassis, putting in the tube sockets, the transformers, input jack, switches, lamps, fuse, all that good stuff. But the first thing we have to do is drill holes for mounting the PCB. So I downloaded the PCB drill guide, okay? And the first thing it said to do is make sure your printer printed it at the proper measurement. So take a rule here, 5 5/8. 5, there's a half, that's 4/8, and 1, that's 5/8. So we are pretty good. So the next thing I want to do is lay this thing out on here. Trying to make sure I'm feeling all the holes where they're supposed to be. I think I just moved the doggone thing. Yeah, good. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just punch some holes in the paper here. You'll have to watch me do that. Alright, so the holes are punched. Now we're going to line this back up. Like that. And I'm just going to mark these with a Sharpie. And hopefully we have 4 holes, which we do. So now I just need to punch them and drill them out 5/30 seconds. Okay, I don't know how well you can see that, but the holes have punch marks in them. It's almost impossible to see them, but trust me, they're there. So next we'll drill it out. Okay, now we drill. So we'll make sure it's not walking, which it's not. And it will be slow going. Holes are drilled. We're ready to move on to the next step. But before we get to assembly, I got to get out the parts we're going to need for this. So we're going to need our input jacks, our output jack, lamp holder, potentiometer with volume switch, chicken head knob, 9-pin socket, jewel lamp, jewel light, and where is the other socket? I know it's here somewhere. Aha! There she blows. Our 2 8-pin sockets. So I'm going to put the rest of the pieces and parts, and the fuse, back in the bag for now because I don't want to lose anything. And we'll get started putting her together. This time we'll do high speed. Right? All right, pardon the hand holding and shooting the computer screen, but I don't feel like setting everything else up. So what we're going to do now is wire the input jacks. So we have to take a 1 meg resistor and put it between the tip and the shorting contact. And then we have to solder it to the, what is it? The, what is it? To the sleeve or ground terminal of the other one. So that is our next move. All right, so we're going to put in this 1 meg resistor, match it up to the picture, and they said make sure you put it on the inside of the jack, so that's what we're going to do here. Like so. A little bit of Uncle Rob's magic juice on there. A little bit for the tip, just the tip, mind you. Looks acceptable. Now we have to take the other one, and it goes through the middle here, like so. It doesn't really say how far apart they should be. Let me check just to be sure. Okay, it does say. It says the two jacks should be soldered together. That's what I will do. It's like I understand the concept here, but just to make sure we get it right, here's what we're going to do. Pardon me for 1 second. Here's what I'm thinking. Get that light out of your eyes there. We will take these and put them where they go, like so. And then when I solder them together, we should have the exact spacing that we need. At least that's my theory. We'll see what happens. So now they're a pair, and they fit perfectly in the holes. That's what I wanted. Excellent. So next up, we install them into the chassis, and it says that the jack with the 1 meg resistor goes to number 1, and also that the lock washers on the inside, but there are no lock washers. They just sent me flat washers, but that will be okay. So we'll fit them in here. Come on. Now I just gotta get a hold of these things with my little stubby fingers. Pardon me. So there's a flat washer. And there's the nut. For you guys who are patrons, you saw my post, or not patrons, but the post I made yesterday about the nano boards. I had the date wrong. I often don't know what day it is. I mean, I know what day of the week it is, usually. But what day of the month, yeah, just doesn't really matter anymore. All right, I'm gonna get this tightened up. All right, so now we're getting down to the real nitty gritty, which is wiring the PCB up to the sockets and jacks and controls and everything else. So we're going to take this ground contact from G1A, and the way they show to do it in the manual is to bend it. Looking for my pliers, here they are. So we were supposed to bend it, route it through here like so. And then somehow convince it to come up through that hole. This is where having large hands is a disadvantage. All right, now don't pop out of there. Good. Good, 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 good. Little flux for flow. There we go. Nice. And now, I'm going to grab the end of that and trim it up. Okay. All right, so now we do pad A. Strip that. Tin it. And it goes in here to pad A, or to the tip of this contact here. I'm trying to, there we go, get it so that the, let me zoom in. The insulation wasn't laying on the pad, so I don't burn any insulation out when I do this. Good. Once again, we'll trim. All right. All right, so now we're taking this wire from pad B, and it says we need to connect it to where our two jacks are soldered together. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to come in here and flow some more solder there. I'm going to trim this, because we don't need all of that. Bend that down as best I can. And it's tinned. There's solder where that junction is. So now, all I have to do is put that in there like so. And that's up on there nice. What's next? So now we take the ground wire from pad G2B down there, and it is going to go into our last remaining mounting pad on this jack. So we'll get that guy in there. And bend him up out of the way. And our input jacks are now wired. So just in case you're wondering what the crunching noises you might be hearing in the background are, I'll show you. Crunching noises are Dogly having a go at a bone. Next up in the instructions, it says to take a red wire about 8 inches in length and feed it from the volume jack under the electronics assembly board, and it has to come out, it says, somewhere between the output jack and the preamp tube, which is right here. I kind of think that would have been better done earlier on in the process, like before I had all this stuff coming in here. But be that as it may, I think I got it. Just gonna have to finesse it. All right, there it is. Volume jack, preamp socket, and output. So let me see what our next step is. Okay, so it said the next step is to strip and tin one end of the red wire and solder it to the middle socket of the volume control. So we're going to do that. And get her in there. Come on. Sorry, I'm bumping the camera, I know. I'm not happy with that. One moment. I just made a better hook. And get more of it through there. I'm doing this through the camera, and it is incredibly difficult. Alright, let's get you going. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Readjust, reassess. One moment. That took a lot more bumbling than I was expecting. But we got it. Let that cool, and I'll trim it. Okay, so now we have to take that red wire that we brought from the volume control and connect it to pin number 7, which is that one right there. So this could be fun. So I'm going to make a little hook on it. Pardon me while I fish it in there. Alright, it's in. Now we solder. Once that cools for a minute, we can trim her up and move on to the next step. All right, now we need to go from pad C to the rightmost terminal on the volume control. And we want these things routed neatly for signal integrity. So I'm going to pull this behind. Am I? No. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down, down, down. We'll come up over here. This is joyful. I do not like these wires. They're like 22 gauge, stranded, but they're incredibly stiff. Get in there. Okay. Some flux on there. And like so. All right. I think that's enough for today. We'll get back to the rest of this tomorrow, which will be Christmas Eve. Then maybe I'll have it finished by Monday. We'll see. Anyway, the question I received was, so what does all this stuff have to do with the amplifier? Like, how does it all work together? Well, these are just power caps, power filtering capacitors here. You get rid of noise, ripple, hum, all that kind of stuff. And over here, these are simply the biasing components for the tubes. Remember, we talked about the tubes, especially the 12AX7, being like a pair of transistors, kind of. They were the precursor to transistors. So it's like having two transistors in one tube. It's like a Darlington transistor pair. So we simply need to bias it properly. We need the cathode to be more negative than the anode, and we need to control the voltage at the grid, which would be equivalent to the base in a transistor. I'll explain more when we finish building this. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it every single time. I love reading your comments. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. This will be my last video before Christmas. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. God bless you, each and every one. Peace, my friends.